All right, TCU game. This was a tough one for BYU. I know it's not the outcome all of us wanted to see or expected. It's going to be a little bit tough to probably watch this tape. I apologize that this is getting out a little bit later than I usually put them out. I've had a lot going on here with my family's football and also the football areas that I help out with other teams and other players. But I just want to take the time to say thank you for those of you that are following the channel, also those that leave comments. I don't have all the time in the world to get back on those comments. I apologize. I'll do better as I kind of have a little bit less of a busy schedule. But I want to take a look at this tape. I think that there's a lot that we can draw from it, a lot to see what's going on and why it's happening the way that it is. I hope that this BYU team can bounce back. They have a tough slate of games ahead of them. I know that for some people, they may be looking at it like, if this is the outcome of the TCU game, what are the other outcomes going to be like? But I think there's a lot to learn. I think this BYU team can bounce back. And as we take a look at this tape, I want to focus more on what we can learn from it, seeing why they do it, and also just be supportive of these players as they go forward to the back half of their season, that they can really get things ironed out and continue to improve so they can finish strong. All right, here we go to start the game. I'm going to start out with this first third down of the first quarter. So BYU goes run. 2 runs in a row to start the game. Now it's 3rd and 5. Playing this heavy man team that is TCU, they're going to go with a man beater. Basically what that's going to be is they're going to motion across, and you're going to see they're going to run these crossing concepts. The back is going to get out into the flat. You're going to have crossers. Unfortunately, this ball gets intercepted, taken back to the house. So let's take a deeper look at it. As we motion across, this is what this play is going to look like. You're going to have crossers that are trying to create some type of rub or pick for number 1. The back coming out of the backfield, and for number 2, this single receiver, which in this case is our tight end, Isaac, coming from underneath. So all you're doing is you're looking for some type of rubber pick as you get these crossers coming across. But we don't get it on the first guy. So here you can see the crossers. Can you see them right here as they take their path right there? And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the defender that is manned up on the running back, get him to have a hard time to work his way through those crossers. And if that's not there, you're then hoping that the defender that is over the tight end or our single receiver to this side, that he has a hard time working his way through our crossers. But we don't get a great rub off of this guy. And because of that, the back is now not open. So as you can see it work across, here the back is not open right here. So Keaton's going to then go to his next in the progression. But somehow there's some confusion here on the depth of this crossing route. Ideally, this crossing route is going to be on top of this crossing route to try to create the rub. But here it looks like there's confusion on the depth of this player and the depth of this player. And so because of that, now as you get to number 2, we don't have any type of rub. This player is easily matching our second rub player. So Keaton's only option then is to look back for one of the other crossers. Now I know in the screen, it looks like, oh geez, that guy's open. As you can see when the ball is thrown, he has somebody that's there. It looks like he's taking a big body guy, and I can't tell from here on when our player stops and when this player decides to cut off the front side, but it looks like Keaton anticipates that our player is going to continue, and because of the big body, he feels like, well, he'll body him up, he'll be in front of him. Our receiver stops, the defender continues, and unfortunately, terrible result, right? Start off the game with the first pass attempt being returned for a touchdown. Very unfortunate play to start the game. That's the way it goes. Okay, second drive of the game. BYU starts out with a pass down the field. They take a man beater, give us a chance, doesn't work. 2nd and 10. They pick up 2 yards on that second down. Here they go back another 3rd down, 3rd and 8. They're going to go with what is another man beater. What they're trying to do is create a little rub again, pick the player so we can throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage and pick the guy that's defending the tight end behind the line of scrimmage. We use this run play a lot. You've heard me talk about it, where we're going to do a zone run, and then this is a sifter that's going to pick up the backside end. Well, now he's a slider, which means he's going to slide out into the flat. And then this receiver here is going to try to get a 2-for-1. What he's trying to do is he is trying to grab his man, and then as his man attaches to him, he is going to try to pick the player that is running with the tight end. So as you can see, we're going to give this zone, outside zone action fake. Here comes Isaac across the backside. We're going to hold this player with the run fake. Isaac is going to run his slip flat out here. There is going to be a player that's traveling and following him. And then our receiver is going to push up and then try to pick him. As you can see, TCU plays this pretty well. When our receiver works inside to block that player that's running with Isaac, this defender recognizes it, falls off of it, and gets Isaac and hits him right here for basically no gain. You've seen BYU use this before, and it's worked really, really well at times. Whereas the receiver pushes up and grabs his guy attaches, stays with him, and we still get the block right here. Happens a lot. It's been a great play for BYU. In this situation right here, whether it's because they've seen it and they practice it, whether it's because we get teams that run this against them a lot because they are a man team, this corner does a really good job. And what does he do? He meets Isaac at the line of scrimmage, and we get no gain. Okay, here we go. This is a solid run for BYU. It was a big one that they needed, especially on a day when they couldn't really get the run game going. But good to see a first down run go for a first down. But let's talk about why it worked, because this is exactly what TCU wants to do. We talked about this in my breakdown when I talked about the way that they play. Inside this box, they love to walk people into the box, and they are going to react hard when they get run keys from the offensive line. And then what that does is that puts them on man-to-man out here on the outside. Well, TCU does exactly what they want to do. The reality is they have an extra man. This run, based off of a hat on a hat, has an extra guy, and where our running back cuts to right here, he runs to an unblocked guy. This is inside zone. So what we're doing is we are blocking inside zone, and actually we're going to take this wing tight end, and he's going to work to the opposite side. It's that sift concept we talk about. Okay, we got zone. We have somebody coming from the other way. This zone is actually, I drew the arrows the wrong way. That's my fault. It's here inside zone, and then we're going to sift back across. So if you look at the where we can work to, the offensive line can work to this player here. They cannot work to this player here outside of the box. They're not going to work there. So if you notice, what happens is as BYU's O-line works, these two players here and here are going to work together to get up to that player. But because that player takes this inside gap, now that's going to push him to this tackle, right? I'll put it right there. Okay. He's going to actually, as he works here, there to there, because this player goes inside, that's going to occupy the tackle, and our tight end is going to stay on that edge rusher there, the defensive end. You can see it play out right there. Okay. The player we cannot account for is him. So ideally, this run should stay inside, but we make this cut right here. We make this cut that's going to bounce us here to an unblocked player. The only reason this play works is because we made the guy miss. That's it, right there. We made the guy miss. Now, there is no scheme issue. This isn't the wrong scheme for blocking by BYU. They are blocking who they're supposed to block. This is exactly the why TCU wants to do it. This is this slow player that plays there and shuffles in on runs because what he's looking for is RPOs. He is saying if they run fake right here and he pulls it and it's an RPO, meaning let's say they have, let's say they have a quick out and a go. He is the in-between player. I do not want to fly in fast enough where then they fake the run and the ball gets thrown out here. I'm not going to do that. So he's going to slow play shuffle until he sees the run given. Then he's going to react hard. It's exactly what TCU wants to do. We get this play because we break a tackle. And then once that tackle is broken, now where are all of TCU's defenders? In here. When we break a tackle and we bounce, now it's man out here. If we get some blocks, now our runs can go. But it comes down to breaking a tackle, not blocking a guy. All right, this is a 2nd and 10. I put this play in here just because it shows exactly what TCU's trying to do. And if we don't get to the guy we need to get to in a hurry, this is what the run plays will look like. This is what going in, I had talked about saying TCU is going to play this 3 down front. They're going to play this 3 down front, and they want these backers, when their run keys show, they're going to have these guys step down hard. Now, there's one player, depending on how they play it, that may slow shuffle just because out on the edges, what's it going to be? It's going to be man. And just like we talked about, this is going to be the press guy. He's going to be off. He's going to be staggered off. And that slow player, what he's going to do is he'll shuffle because he's protecting for RPOs. But these other guys right here, they're going to get downhill hard. So it's exactly what you can anticipate. You have got to get to the right guy, and you got to get there in a hurry. You cannot be slow working your combo block up to a backer. And what combo block would mean is it means a tackle and a guard will work to a defensive lineman and then combo up to a backer. Okay? And that's exactly what happens here. BYU is going to run this outside zone stretch play. Okay? And what that means is we are working stretch here, 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 and here. If they bring somebody off this edge, we're not accounting for him. We are going to run away from him. But here you're going to see, this is the combo I'm talking about right here. These two are going to work there. The tight end gets to work up here, but they're trying to then combo to a backer here. And so what happens is, as they combo, you'll hear a lot of times line coaches say, like, get your eyes on the prize, get your eyes on the luggage, eyes to the backer, like whatever these little terms are. But what they're saying is it's all in combo blocks. Here to here, help out, and then we got to get to the backer. And that's what happens right here. You can see he's trying to get there. You can see he tries to get there. But as these guys come down really hard, you can't spend too much time there before you get there. And now I'm not doing it to call out this young man at all. Right? This happens all the time in run game. Guys are trying to help on the combo and then get to the backer. So by no means am I calling a player out saying, well, it's his fault this play didn't work. Everybody's accountable together, working together. This is a good TCU team that gives a lot of people trouble because of how hard they get downhill. I'm merely showing it because if you want a run play to be successful, this is where you have to get to. I'm talking as if I was talking to a person to help them out and talking to a team to help them out. We got to get on that block. Otherwise, like I said, TCU, I said this in the breakdown, they're going to come downhill in a way that they want to make contact at the line of scrimmage. So if we look where this initial line of scrimmage was, it's behind the 35-yard line. When he gets his run key, he is going to come down and he wants to make contact at that spot. Now, he does a great job of making contact behind it. We break a tackle and we fight to get back to the line of scrimmage. But I put this up there to show that TCU gives a lot of teams this problem because of how hard downhill they come. And so you have to be really good at getting those combo blocks to that second level backer quickly because he's coming downhill so fast. All right, here we go. We're still in the first quarter, another 3rd 10. As you can see, BYU's got a lot of these. In the beginning of the game, they started them out with like a couple 3rd and 8s. Now they're in a 3rd and 10. This is difficult. You're already down 14-0. You're playing from behind. You're landing in 3rd and 10s. This is tough. So BYU goes to a 3-by-1 set, and they're going to try to dash out of the pocket, and they're trying to throw a kind of a 3-level throw here. What it is they're going to have some type of quick game over here on this side. So what you can do is, as the quarterback, you'll settle. If you can take the throw, you take it. Obviously, here on a 3rd and 10, a quick game play is not going to do us any good right here to this side over here. So you're almost setting just to get the defense to settle so you can sprint out on the front side, which is what Keaton does here. So he settles, says no here, takes off on the front side. Now, why immediate pressure? Let's talk about what the line's doing. The line is going to move, and as they move away from the sprint out, which some may say, why are we moving away from the sprint out? This doesn't make sense. When you play teams that have gap responsibilities with the offensive line, it's because of the threat of running a zone run here. The D-line has to maintain their gap responsibility. So as they see the offensive line move left here, they're going to move with them. As they move with them, this allows the quarterback to get out on the front side. And then you have the tight end or wing player here that's going to seal off anybody from that front side. The issue is the looper right here. So they're going to slant with the offensive line as the offensive line moves, but you have this looper that's going to go to that gap. So what it does is it puts a lot of pressure on these two players, the right guard and the right tackle. Because as you can see, watch their vision and their eyes. They're going to step down this way. As they step down, the initial contact is made with the defensive end, and he sets for that backer. When that backer loops, it puts a ton on this tackle because now they have to try to bump back and out, which is difficult. Imagine if Keaton was staying in the pocket right here. Different story. Now that looper, look how much further he has to run to try to get to Keaton. Keaton's going to have a little bit more time. But because we sprint out, we almost sprint out right to the looper. Now, why can't the ball be thrown right now? This throw, we have an outside go route up top. This is going to be your second level. This is your first level. As Keaton starts out on his sprint out, the only chance he would have is right as he begins to sprint. Right now, throw the ball to this flat route. But the thing is we haven't given any time for that second level to develop. And most of the time, you are not used to seeing a looper get to you that fast. So by no means does a quarterback usually, as he sprints out right here, feel the necessity to have to throw this ball right now. You can tell from the development of the play. Doesn't have his head around. Hasn't even gotten to the top of his route yet. This play is not designed for the ball to be out right now. So Keaton, what does he try to do? Buy a little bit of time. Let me just buy a little bit. If I can make this guy miss, maybe there's a chance. Well, we can't make the guy miss. Now the only option we have is to potentially throw the ball to the ground next to our tight end, but we can't do that either because we have a defender there. So all you got to do, eat it, take the sack, move on to the next play. It's unfortunate because of the times that BYU's been behind the sticks and down in distance. They try to get a play. This probably is not going to get him the first down. He'll rally and make the tackle. The chance we have is for the second level guy to win in leverage, but we don't have the time to do it. So like I said, it's unfortunate. A 3rd and 10, difficult position, ends up in a sack. All right, 2nd and 10 here for BYU, backed up in their own territory. They go with a similar play, the sprint out. As you can see, he's going to settle. He spins out of it. We have the similar 3-tier throw, but it's out of a little different alignment. We motion down to this stack alignment. So what's going to happen is we're going to motion down to this stack alignment, and the concept is going to look like this. You're going to have a vertical route, and a lot of the times they'll either run, and I'm saying when I say a lot of times, it's either some teams, I'm not specifically saying just BYU, I'm kind of saying in the concepts, they can run a pylon route, they can run a go route, they can also run a deep corner route. What they're trying to do is they're trying to clear out and run off any over-the-top coverage. The next thing is you're going to get this sail route by number 2, and you're going to get the back in the flat. That's that 3-level throw that I talk about. So this works out really, really well. BYU does the same thing. Keaton's going to settle. Can I take the quick game there? Yes or no? If not, I spin out of it, and I work this way to the field. As he works to the field, you can see this distribution start to happen. There's going to be that inside corner route. Now we're going to work out and get the sail route and the back into the flat. What works out great here is we get really good leverage because here the leverage isn't great, right? He's outside of him. But Chase does a good move, gets this guy to run up over the top, and then he gets to pull himself out of it. And right here, you'll see as he now has the defender turned, and he's going to have his back, he's going to run into out of his vision, make this guy have to turn to get there. When you do that, now you just stay flat, and that creates separation. Good job by Keaton flipping his hips, throwing a really good ball. As you can see, do you see this separation right here? That's because I'm going to go back to the top of the route. Even though Chase doesn't have great leverage on the guy here, because his eyes are inside and his body is moving this direction, all Chase has to do is set him up and then get this guy to rotate. Once he rotates, that's why you see him staying flatter. I wish we could see the other part of it, but that right there, right on the edge, you can see this guy recognizes that Chase is going to run out of his vision into his backside. This is going to be too slow of a rotation. So what he does is he's going to turn the opposite way. When he turns the opposite way, automatic space. That's that separation. And that's why it's a pretty easy completion. Good job. That was a big first down pickup for BYU. Okay, here's another 3rd down from the game. This is the drive. BYU's gotten to get out of their own territory a little bit. They got a first down, but once again, what's happening is they're in those tough 3rd downs. It's happened all throughout the game. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. They're constantly behind the sticks, putting themselves in tough situations. Here, BYU chooses to go to a play that they use quite often that's been really successful for them over the years. It's basically a shallow play with blockers. So you've seen them run this, and it's been good. The thing is, there's confusion here. We're missing something, right? We don't have the shallow route coming. What this is you're going to get up on a backer, up, blocking, out, blocking. There's a receiver that's down here. He's also going to get up and block. You have all of these blockers that are going to be up for a shallow route coming underneath. Somewhere there was some confusion. As this play plays out, you can see there is no player coming for the shallow. Now, this defender jumps the heck out of it. I don't know how well this would have worked anyway. With how aggressive that corner is to the boundary, I don't know if we would have been able to get this receiver over there on a shallow open enough. But this is the play design. You can see them get their blockers out into space, out into space. Here they're going to have an add-on. If we were able to get that shallow route over there, this play would absolutely have a chance. But you can see the confusion, right? The quarterback's wondering, where's my shallow? Where's my shallow? Where's my shallow? Nothing's there. Everybody's locked up. So we just have to throw the ball away and missed opportunity. All right, another third down. This is the end of the first quarter. Another third down. BYU goes with another sprint out. Now it's a different variation. You're going to be able to see it's a similar type concept, meaning a 3-level throw, but we're having the distribution be a little bit different. We have a wide and go route, we have a sail route, and we have an out route. So similar in terms of when I say 3-level, there's level 1, there's level 2, there's level 3. The reason why these type of plays work is because there's 2 levels in defensive coverage, the deep level and the underneath coverage. So what you're trying to do is you are trying to put 3 people in distribution in space with 2 levels being able to cover them. So the idea is that if we can run off the over top coverage, the deep coverage, now what we have is we have a 2-on-1 with that underneath coverage. If they don't run over the top, and if this coverage settles on the second level, then you throw the over top third level. And if both levels sink, this is the take what the defense gives us. So here, watch the distribution. You're going to be able to see this is the wide and go route. This is our deeper out or sail route. And here's our quick out route. Now, the thing that happens that you kind of can't see is as this corner, and this isn't really the corner, this is the safety. The way that they play it a little bit inverted. But as he gets depth, he's going to actually slightly fall off the wide and go and make it difficult for Keaton to be able to throw this deep out. So as Keaton runs out, you're going to be able to see right here, I'm going to show you the distribution right here. He's going to hang, he's going to back up, but he's going to help over the top. So what happens is when we have our wide and go and our sail, they play it in a way that it's too muddy to cut a ball loose. This player is hanging in between, so you can't throw this out route because he'll break on it. But you also can't just throw the go ball over the top because they have 2 people running out over the top. So it's what I call a muddy look. So the issue here is Keaton's got pressure in his face. The only place he can go with the ball is somebody that has a defender standing right behind him. So Keaton takes the only thing that he can take, and we get tackled without getting the first down. These things right here, and actually they call it an incompletion. I forgot about that. It's called an incompletion. But here, right at the end of the tape, this you can see, there's that defender that's making the chance to throw this out route really muddy. And then you can see where our go route is. There's no chance for us to throw any of these 2 balls because of just how muddied up that look is. And so again, I'm sure there's people going, what in the world are we doing watching this game? You see those receivers run out of your screen. You see a ball thrown to somebody that has a defender right behind him saying that's never going to get us the first down. That's why. It's a muddy look down the field, and we have somebody in our face. It's like if you don't take this throw right here, the ball's got to be thrown away so that you don't take a sack and punt from deeper. All right, I want to talk about this run play in the second quarter because I'm sure most people are saying, well, hey, there it is. Now we can get the run game going a little bit. It's great to see first down yard pickup on a 1st and 10 run play. So what this is this is just a little pitch sweep, and it's a little pin and pull. What I mean by that is we're going to get down blocks by the offensive line, all right? So what that means is that's the down block. We're going to get a down block here, and we're going to get a down block here. And then what BYU is going to do is they're going to be able to get 3 linemen pulling out here on the edge. That's a lot. And then front side, you're going to be able to see that we can get blocks all through here. So what's going to happen is here the play goes, and I know those lines, guys, so you know, as I'm going through this, I'm just throwing those lines up really quick. I'm not putting it exactly to those guys when I'm kind of showing it in the beginning. That way, if somebody says, well, hey, that line that John drew, it didn't exactly go to the guy ended up blocking. I'm just showing conceptually what the offense is getting to. As I let it play out right here, I'll be more detailed of showing exactly who they're going to work to. But pausing right here you're going to see our down blocks. There's our 3 down blocks. This is the pin. We pin the end right here. Now we can pull all 3 of these guys up on the edge. So we are going to work here. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, it is going to have to be a safety, or it is going to have to be somebody flowing from the backside that's going to have to make this tackle. We should be able to pull up on this edge and watch these linemen work right here. This is not easy, especially for this right tackle. This right tackle, look at the distance. There's our running back's distance. Our right tackle is trying to beat the running back out there. Look at him go. Okay, it's a great effort by these guys. Really good job of sealing on the front side. This is why this play works. Our linemen are getting up there. Also, here's another thing. Notice how nobody is sitting. Early in the season, there were a few plays, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but they settled and they allowed the defense to attack them. This is a really good job by our receivers. Look how downfield they get. Obviously, these are variations of man, and so these DBs, they do not have their eyes in the backfield. They do not have their eyes in the backfield. Whenever you have DBs that don't have their eyes in the backfield, you want to run them off as best you can. So that's what's happening. They're running them off as best they can, and then when they realize it's a run play, just like this receiver's doing, he's going to settle and get a block. But look at the space that is created out here. His job is to win with speed. We get our down blocks, and then now it's these linemen's job to get out in front and to help this guy. And this is exactly what happens. Even the fact that he's just hustling right here doesn't allow this person to get downhill as fast, this defender. It makes him have to run here for width. Running for width right there is going to slow him down, especially when we have speed out here to the boundary, to the corner. And all he's doing is running exactly to that first down marker. This was a really well executed play, and it's really good to see BYU pick up a first down like that on a first down run play. All right, this is 2nd and 5. This play is built off of BYU's quick toss that they do to get out on the edge. They had a little success with it in the game, so they come back and they use it to set up this bluff. So what they're doing is they're going to sell the little pitch, but instead of the tight end coming down on the edge, pinning the edge, and us getting pullers out on the side, what they're going to do is they're still going to bring one puller because he's going to be responsible for any pressure that's going to come off the edge. So they bring the puller, and then what they do is they set up distribution that looks like it can be blocking, okay? Looks like it can be blocking. And what they're doing is they are going to run a wide and go down the sideline with Isaac. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to widen like he's going to block, and he bluffs and he goes down the sideline. And then as you can see from the other players, we can actually set up, we can make contact right here. Now, you can make contact, and then you have to settle upfield just a little bit. It's not a block, but what it does is that contact that you make can give a look that it is that same pitch play with blocks, and then he works upfield. So all that it is looks like it's a little bit of block or trying to run off versus man. Our receiver here chooses to run off versus man. Other people will say engage. That engagement can sell what looks like we're setting up a block. Either or, whether you engage or you run off, you have this player occupied, and that's the whole key. Occupy him. Then this receiver, he's going to have to run off. He's going to have to collect this guy and take him out of there so that way there is this space down the field for us. The main thing here is Isaac is going to widen like he's going to block, and then he bluffs and he's going to head down the field. So great setup. I like it also because BYU had some success with this quick toss, this quick pitch. And so the opportunity's there. We get what we want. We get man coverage. Isaac has a step on him. It's one of those plays that it's so close. These are the plays that we want to see BYU connecting on as the season continues. We've seen these made before. Like, this is not a bad throw. This is not a drop. The defender gets his hand in there. This is actually a well-played ball by the defender. You see him get his eyes up. His eyes are up. He makes a play on the ball. Yes, that ball can be, and if we want it completed, if that ball is dropping here just a little bit more out in front of him, it's probably a completion versus really tight coverage. These are the difference makers in games. And I know we're down 24-0, so it would be easy to say, well, even if we get this, that's not that big of a difference maker. But there's 6:55 left in the second quarter. If we can get this big play and have it put us down here, we have opportunities to put points on the board. These are still big plays if BYU can find a way to just make that play. I really like the design. It's well executed. It's just so close to having it. All right, 4th and 5. This was a big play for BYU. Not just because they needed some momentum, but anytime you go for it on 4th down, there's a pressure to it, right? And so I like that BYU was able to execute and convert here. It also was in pretty tight coverage. So this is a choice play that you see BYU use at times when they get an empty formation. Sometimes what they do is they're going to run this slot fade, and then you're going to see this under route from up top. And then they're going to have a similar thing out here to the bottom, where it's going to be a similar slot fade. The New England Patriots used to run this a ton with Gronkowski, Edelman, those type of guys. They would run it with widened inside box fades, slot fades, and hitches. Slot fade and then a hitch down here to the bottom. And what they do, and I think I've said this on a previous video, is they're just trying to open up that space to say, I'm going to put my guy and give him space to win. And that's what happens. He gets to work up and he gets to run an option play. He feels like he can win inside. He takes it inside. The tricky part is these droppers. This is really difficult when teams drop somebody to the field, to the boundary, underneath these man players. Because this is what it is. It's man across the board, man across the board. And as a quarterback, I've been in these situations. And you feel this all up pressure. You feel man. You feel space. And it's really difficult at times because as soon as that ball is snapped, what you're going to do is you're going to first confirm, yep, okay, here comes the pressure. I know I got man coverage. So you're going to take your eyes out there, and then right as your eyes are reading this, right as your eyes are reading the anticipation of what is my guy going to do? Where's the leverage? Is he going to break in? Is he going to break out? All of a sudden, you feel this presence of something underneath. And so it worked out here, right? That he broke inside, and he was able to wrap right around this guy. That's why it looks like he's double covered. But I want you to notice something. Look at when this ball is being thrown, the space that there is. There's not a lot of space as Chase wraps around this guy. But what it is you feel this space, the space you can run him to. And I hope that made sense. There is not a lot of space there, but there's space in this space right here. And so that's what Keaton's throwing him to. Now, the referee almost does too good of a job on defense helping out TCU here, and he kind of gets in the way, but we pick up a 1st down here. It was big. Anytime that you are trying to get some type of rhythm, you're trying to convert, you haven't been able to convert on a lot of 3rd downs. You just want that feeling like, okay, we got it. We can convert. We can make this happen. So despite the score here, I know that it's already kind of a butt whooping. Despite all of that, they've put together a drive. They've made some plays. They go for it on 4th down. They pick it up. That is a feeling that you have to have if you want to climb back into a football game. All right, we got to put the touchdown plays on here. We got to see some good stuff. Really well executed play down here. Obviously, the cameraman gets faked out a little bit, so it kind of messes it up in terms of being able to break it down, but let's talk about what's happening. Offensive line's working this direction. What they're trying to do, like we said earlier in the video, they're trying to keep these guys that have gap responsibilities in their space. They're going to leave one man unblocked that they can beat with speed. This is the unblocked player that they say they can beat with speed. They're going to get 2 guys up here out on the edge trying to pin him. And then what you're going to get on the outside is you're going to get a push crack. He's going to push. That guy should back up. Then he's going to crack on a backer. And then what that does is that isolates what we believe is the one-on-one. Fine. We'll go and beat your corner to the goal line. So that's what happens. Really well executed. We get the edge. This is what is the key blocks right here. Out here getting that edge. And then if we can get the edge well enough that he can slip off and pick up somebody else, that's even better. It's not guaranteed, but even better. That's what he's trying to work to. You can see him trying to work to that right there. That would be the goal. And it's similar to those. It's any time that you get to have 2 linemen combo blocking. What they're working to is they're trying to work together to there with him getting outside and him working his way to the front side. So then we can get the outside guy up to the 2nd level. These are really, really key blocks if you can get that to work anytime you're trying to get the edge. But BYU does such a good job here. Watch the corner's eyes on the push crack. As he pushes up, his eyes are still on him to the point where even when he runs in, that player is still working in. He's oblivious to all this action out here on this edge that's going to take our receiver into the end zone. It's a touchdown. You can't see the finish, but good to see BYU find a way to get in the end zone. All right, 2-point play here by BYU. This was actually a really impressive play. It was really well covered by TCU, but the feel of a receiver and Keaton finding space, feeling it out, Keaton trusting it. This was a really good job by the guys. So, all right, first let's talk about what play they're running. You can see they're in this widened bunch look. What you're going to get is you're going to get a drive combination with a hook and a swing. Now, we motion to it, but you're getting 4 to a side with a drive concept. So when you hear the word drive concept, this is an old West Coast term for shallow and in cut. They call that drive. So what they're doing is they're having a drive concept, a hook, and then you're going to motion and you're going to get a swing. And what it really is trying to do is you're trying to have players stay inside of the drive, and then you're trying to isolate a hook and a swing and to play off a defender. Now, what happens here, TCU plays this really well. You can see the way that they push. They're going to push. He's going to wait for an in-breaker. And then what happens is as we run through, this is why they're able to play it so well. Let's say if the push player was impacted by the shallow. Now we're going to be set up good. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to have the shallow impact this player so that he stays, as I talked about, inside the drive. When he stays inside the drive concept, you have less players out here. But what they do, they push through the drive. And now this player is impacted by the shallow. So what they've basically done is they have worked 5 towards our 4. So we're a guy short. But what happens, he is impacted by the shallow. He is held up by the shallow. That helps us out a little bit. But they've matched it really well. Going back, this player is going to expand. He's going to expand for the swing. As we continue, this player is going to run with the basic. The inside out towards a hook makes it really tough. So there you can see that play out. Can you see the inside out towards our hook? The hook is a zone beater. It's not a man beater. This play is also a zone beater, but they match this up really, really well. So Keaton, he has nowhere to go. You can't go here. You can't go to the basic. You can't go to the swing that was there. You're stuck. Keaton thinks about going to the basic on the back line, but they got a guy underneath it. So what he does is in that space of time, he brings his eyes back to the receiver here that, watch this. When you match, you now try to swipe and get to space. Because this player worked inside out, what the swipe does is when he settles, that player's momentum is working this way. So he's going to settle. Now he's going to swipe and work inside of him. They're on the same page, and it's a ball caught for a 2-point conversion. As you can tell, there was a lot going on there. TCU played that actually really, really well. Great job by Chase, swiping, finding space, and Keaton finding him. All right, here we go, 2nd and 8. BYU got him here on a double move. This is built off of their all slants concept, and they run a slant and go here, or a sluggo. So what you're going to get is you're going to get this 3-receiver side, and it's this all slant concept. That's what they're basing this off of. So what they do, I'm going to draw this over in the green, is this is going to be your sluggo that he's going to run to space to win, and then these slants now become, you can call it a slant return, you can call it a whip route. This is the concept. So what you're doing is you're banking that this guy is going to be aggressive on that slant. As you take this inside break, this defender gets aggressive, and then you have all of this space here to win. The thing you got to do is you just have to hold that single high safety. So we get a really good look here. Comes off the ball. As he plants, you can see this defender, that inside move right there. Right here is that inside move. Now we got him up over the top. It's locked up everywhere else. Locked up, locked up. Here's the safety that you just have to be concerned of. So a lot of the times, if it's man coverage, a quarterback is taught in man coverage, you don't have to pump.
You don't have to pump on a slant because this guy's vision is not in the backfield on the quarterback. His vision is on the receiver. The route alone will do the job of that guy jumping the slant and then you winning over the top. If it's zone coverage with his eyes on the quarterback, now you do want to use a pump because it's going to be the quarterback planning on a third step, showing his feet in the ground, shrugging his shoulders, pumping, that is going to get that nickel player to jump it. So here, the main concern, make sure that this safety can't get into that space over the top of where you know you can win. So good design, well executed route, ball gets up, Keaton drops it in the bucket. This was a really, really good play, big play. BYU needed a feeling like that during this game. All right, I'm putting this play on here because I'm blown away, not only upon watching it live, but upon watching it again in replay, that this is not flagged for a pass interference. Because to me, and I know as fans, you guys have probably gone over this a number of times, but to me, the contact is made with the body there. The ball is not even close, and you can see by the impact, the way the receiver's body reacts to a ball. A receiver's body will not react that way to the ball. And the impact of the defender leaning into a player like that, that's the type of impact that you make, not to break up a pass, but to actually take a receiver off of his feet, to hit him after a catch has been made. That's why the receiver is knocked off of his feet right there. There was no actual play at the ball. There was no hand towards the ball. There was nothing towards the ball. Everything was to the receiver, trying to impact the receiver, no different than a hit. So to me, this was an absolute pass interference that should have been called. All right, this is a 2nd and 8, and I'm going to stay focused on just the concept up top, right? And why this ball was incomplete and some of the thoughts on my mind of why it was the way that it went. So it's 2nd and 8 here. They're going to motion down to this stack alignment. This is a very basic play. You motion down to stack alignment, and you have a quick out in the corner. You know you're getting man coverage. You also know the type of man coverage you're getting. They're going to play, they do this all the time, they're going to play up a little bit tighter on the outside receiver, and they're going to play off on number 2 or the slot receiver. It's single high man. You know if you can hold this guy, he's not going to be able to run all the way to space to make a play here on the corner. So as this play plays out, we should have really good leverage. We should be able to win into this space. You have all of that field there. It's just about being on the same page. So on this play here, you can tell by the quarterback's rhythm, which means as he takes his hitch and throws, he's very confident in throwing this ball. There's no hesitation. Right as he gets out of that hitch, here's something I look for. When he hitches right there, he puts his right foot down, left foot down, ball is out. There's no little pitter patter. There's no indecision. There's no wondering what the receiver's going to do. He's throwing a confident ball there. But you can tell from the result of the play, something's not right. They're not on the same page. This all comes down to that trust of the angle that I believe the receiver's taking is the angle that he takes. So here on this corner route, there's an angle that Keaton's trust, he's throwing a ball that he believes is a certain angle. That's not the angle that the receiver takes. The receiver takes a much flatter angle. Usually you take those flatter angles when they are high and outside of you. You're not going to win to this space, so then they're going to flatten you off. Sometimes what coaches will tell players is they'll say, you set the angle and then allow the quarterback to bring you to grass, to bring you to that space. If he needs to flatten you out, he'll flatten you out with the throw. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to start it flat. So the thing is, and I'm not placing blame on one person or another, I'm merely just looking at the tape and saying they are not on the same page right here. The quarterback is throwing the ball with a belief that he knows the angle and trusts that that player is going to come out on that angle, and the player is taking a different angle because he may feel that he needs to get to that space. So this just comes down to, when I see a play like this, it just tells me the chemistry is not there yet. It still needs to be worked on between these two players. You have to be able to have ultimate trust and the feel. This is why you do all the off-season reps. This is why you throw one-on-ones. This is why after summer practices, you grab the defensive backs, you grab the receivers, and you say, hey, can we do some one-on-ones? It's because you're trying to build that chemistry to be on the same page. And I know that BYU's brought in a lot of transfers. They have new guys. This is why every practice rep is so important. This is why they invest all that time. And so plays like this, you have man coverage, you have green grass. You want to be able to be on the same page right here. so that these type of balls have a way better chance than that. This was too big of a miss right here, and it just comes down to being on the same page.
All right, I'm putting this on there because, again, I'm sure there are many people that said, man, where has this been all game? Why did this play work in the run game? Why can't we have that more? So let's talk about why this play worked. This is just a very simple, we've seen this before so many times. This is just our zone action with the sifter coming back on the backside. Now, it looks like a little bit of a stretch zone. That's why Isaac's going to go. Watch where he has to go. He's going to work out. Let me go a little frame further. Isaac's going to work out to here. The guard and the tackle are going to combo up to that player right here. The backside guard is going to work to try to cut off the front side there. These two guys are going to get downhill, and if they can get up to him, they'll get there. But if not, this is not guaranteed that we're going to get to that guy. If we say this player or this player make the tackle, we should have some success of getting the ball up here. But let's watch what happens. So BYU works on this zone action, but we get slow to the front side. And what I mean by that is, if you watch this combo block here, watch how much downhill this guy gets before we get off to him. Now, they're working to try to make sure that they can secure him. You can't get off of this block until those dots are almost taking up too much space. This player here cannot get off of that block and work up to the next level until he feels his partner right here, till he feels the guard is able to get over in front of him as well. There's a rule. You can't leave for the second level until you've secured the first level. Oh, excuse me, I got a cough. Sorry about that. You can't get up to the second level. So he's trying to secure it. It's because he's trying to secure it that he's a little late here. That's what the running back feels. As the running back works to that hole, you can see a good hole there, but guess who's filling it? That player that we haven't yet got to work up to on that combo block. This is why the running back is forced to cut back right here. Now, as you can see, we get to it, but it's late. It's late getting there. We can't get to that hole. So he cuts back. The thing that works to our benefit, because our line was pressing so hard to get to this front side, these defenders are trying to work to win to get there as well. And because of that, we get a natural little cutback right here. Now, in most zone schemes, especially inside zone, not necessarily outside zone, but inside zone, when you press your landmark, when you press it, you can then work back a gap. So like inside zone, you see it all the time. They start and then they work back gap by gap. So here this running back is using similar teaching methods, similar cutback, and he's cutting back in this zone. We seal off the backside. And because of TCU's flow to the ball, because of how hard they flow to the ball, and then also we get this little break right here, this backside corner actually comes on a corner cat. So our sifter, instead of getting an end man on the line of scrimmage, he's going to take this corner. So he takes the corner, and now we have this big cutback, and that's why now there's all this space right here. They brought the corner off the edge, and their outside backer floated with the run. So that's why we get this big pickup here in the third quarter. All right, here's another solid play by BYU. I'm putting this on here because I like the execution of it. I don't want this video to be this, just nitpicky, calling out all these mistakes and whatnot. Like, that's not what this is for. That's not what I designed it to be. I designed it to be instruction. I want it to be talking about the plays that BYU has in the game that I feel are impactful, that I feel like we can learn something from, that I feel like can call out why this play, hey, here's why it didn't work. Here's why it is unsuccessful. Here's what needs to be executed properly. Or here's a play that was really well executed. And just because the score of this football game, I'm not going to leave a good play like this out. This will be the last play that I break down. I'm not going to worry about getting into the fourth quarter. Things are kind of out of hand by then. A lot of those plays in the fourth quarter, there's not as much to go off of. I feel like some of it's the same stuff. Some of it opens up in the fourth quarter because of the way that TCU started playing their defense. It was a little bit easier for BYU to move the football. I think some of the backups for TCU went in as well. So I don't feel like those are as important parts of the game. But I want to finish with this positive play here by BYU. It's just a simple halfback screen, but I want to talk about the execution right here. We do a good job of setting up our blocks and getting our linemen out, right? The linemen are out. They're not bringing a lot of pressure right here. They bring their standard 4 down. This is the add-on. The add-on helps us because the add-on is working away from the screen. So we throw the screen away from him. But 54, really good job here. You want to catch this screen and you want to work inside. Quarterbacks, a lot of the time, we're taught when that screen is out there, can I put the ball on a shoulder of the running back that's going to allow him to turn up quickly? You don't want to put a ball out here on his hands that delays him or spins him the wrong way. So he's catching this ball. He's going to get up inside that first block. Now these next 2 blocks are important. You always have number 3. 1, 2, and 3. Number 3 is going to turn and he's going to look inside for any trailer. That trailer can come from the rushers, any backer that started to blitz and comes out, or defensive lineman, or it can come from any linebacker that started to step up and then come flow from the backside once they recognize screen. So you're trying to pick off somebody that recognized screen. So we do a really good job of that, and he gets the most dangerous guy. If you talk in terms of levels, those levels, this is going to be the most dangerous player to the threat of the play. He picks off the 3rd level, does a really good job. Now we get our big man up in front of our running back, and really good job of our running back being on his back. This is really, really good right here. Gives him a little shove, a little help, but we're making plays right here. This is really well executed. I like it, right? The design, the execution, all of these things. I'm putting this on there because there are capabilities, good things can happen. I know it's late in the game. Some people may say, oh, hey, it's garbage time. Yes, to a degree. I'm sure this TCU team is not playing the same way they were when it was 7-0, 0-0, 10-0, all of that type of stuff. But at the same time, well-executed play. We're able to learn a lot from this well-executed screenplay. Like I said, again, I'm not going to add on the 4th quarter. It's already moved on. I put on close to 20 plays on this breakdown, which I tried to grab the 20 that I felt like were impactful and you can learn something from the game. I hope to see things improve for BYU. They have a tough slate ahead of them, a lot of really tough games. It's going to take a lot, but I look forward to hopefully some good things happening for BYU, better than it went in